Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie, this is Bear, and we're here to talk about books. Now, any regular viewers, which I do have some of now, so thank you very much for watching my videos. I am very grateful. You will notice that I am not in my usual location and I do not have my usual co-host. And that's because my husband Dave and I are currently cat sitting for some friends while they're away. And if the camera shakes at all, the cat is quite intrigued by the tripod, so that'll be why. Anyway, this is the next in my Reviews Revisited series, where I pick a book that I read sometime since 2005 and don't really remember, reread it, and then compare my reactions to my original review. And this month I am revisiting the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. But first of all, let's make some tea. So, for once, past me has not already boiled the kettle, because in this house, the kettle is the show. I'm not sure I'd want that performance every morning of my life, but it has been quite fun while I've been here. This morning I'm having black tea with chocolate and vanilla. There we go. Now we've got our tea. Let's get into what I remember from my previous reading of the Murderbot Diaries. Now, I think I only read the first one and then didn't carry on, and it's a fair few years ago, and I'm not quite sure what I remember and what I don't, because I have to admit that Dave and I have been watching the recent TV adaptation, and so that's kind of coloured my recollections. While I was watching that, I didn't remember much about the book, although I have to say that I definitely thought that Murderbot presented as female in the books, which is weird because I listened to the same audiobook that was still in my library from however many years ago, and it's a male narrator, so I'm not quite sure where I got that from. Maybe just because the author is female, I don't know. Anyway, obviously Murderbot has no gender assignment and refers to itself as it in the book, so yeah, that's not really a thing, but yeah, it does present as male in the TV show because played by Alexander Skarsgård. So anyway, yes, my re-listening to the book is definitely going to be coloured by the TV show, because I have just watched it, so I think I'm going to be comparing it to that rather than I am to my previous recollections of reading the book. Anyway, I don't really remember much from listening to it before. I obviously didn't absolutely love it, because otherwise I would have carried on with the series. I'm probably going to listen to more than one for this episode because they are pretty short. So yes, I'm going to go now and listen to the first book and come back to let you know my thoughts. Right, I'm back. Very short book, 3 hours and 20 minutes, which is actually about an hour less than the whole series of the TV show. So an odd instance where the TV adaptation is actually longer than the original book. But yes, I did listen to the whole thing. I haven't stopped halfway through because I thought that might be a bit redundant. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think, as I said, I'm definitely being coloured by my experience of the TV show. There are an awful lot of character names of the humans in the survey team given in the first chapter, and they're all referred to by their surnames throughout, which makes it a bit remote from them. I should say that it's from the point of view of a security unit, combined kind of organic and robot construct, I think is what they call them, who is assigned to a survey team on an alien planet to protect them while they're doing their work there. And it's first person narrative from the point of view of Murderbot, who has hacked their governor module, so is no longer being controlled by the humans and is free to make its own decisions about what to do. So that's the basic premise. And at least to begin with, and pretty much throughout, Murderbot's voice is quite flat, quite emotionless. Initially, it doesn't care about the humans. So only one of them is actually given any physical description at all, and that's Dr. Mensah, who is the head of the team. And the rest of them aren't really distinguished by characteristics, attributes. The way they speak and act is not really gone into. So I did find it quite difficult to connect to them as individual characters, which, as I say, Murderbot is the same, because it doesn't distinguish between them really and doesn't care about them up until the end, which obviously the point of the book is that Murderbot goes through an arc of becoming more attached to the humans, but they still don't really become proper characters, I don't think, in the book. And I was very much coloured by my experience of watching the TV show. So I was visualising the people, the actors from the TV show and the setting and all of that. I think without that, I might have struggled a little bit to really grab hold of it and figure out what was going on, because an awful lot does go on in quite a short space of time. And yeah, I think having the grounding of the TV show definitely helped, which is a bit kind of arse backwards, because normally I would read the book first, which obviously I did, but I didn't remember it from that. Yeah, so it's also interesting that the TV show actually puts in quite a lot of extra detail. There are whole new characters and new sort of set pieces within the show, which are not in the book. And you also get scenes from outside of Murderbot's viewpoint. So you get to see what's happening in places where Murderbot is not there, or is incapacitated, or is not conscious for whatever reason. So yeah, it's an interesting one where I think actually the TV show is better. Oh, shouldn't say that, but I think it was, because you get more depth and you get to know the human characters a lot more. So definitely I enjoyed the TV show a lot, and it definitely improved my experience of reading the book. I did feel very seen when Murderbot said that it would much prefer to have emotional reactions to entertainment media than to reality. Definitely related to that. And Murderbot's personality did start coming through more. Yeah, it was kind of a bit more relatable, and quite adorably awkward with the people by the end of chapter 3, and goes through quite a progression in terms of emotional reactions and dealing with the people and getting to know the people. Yes, Dante, I can hear you, and so can the viewers, probably. I don't know. He's a bit antsy. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I am going to listen to the second one as well and move past my experience of the TV show, because the TV show thus far covers the first book and nothing else. So yeah, I'm going to go and do that, and I will come back and let you know what I think after I have finished that one. And in the meantime, here is some bonus cat content. So I am back, having just finished listening to Artificial Condition, which is the second book in the Murderbot Diaries series by Martha Wells. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It's quite different to book one, at least in the first half. It's quite discursive, quite reflective. Murderbot is doing a lot of considering about what it wants to do. Sorry if you can hear scrabbling in the background. The cat is being a fearsome hunter with its little bird toy, which I will show you a clip of later because I did film him. But yes, I enjoyed it. The characters, the secondary characters, are much better drawn, I would say, than in the first book. They get a lot of physical description, a lot more characteristics and attributes, and it shows a lot more their personality, so they become characters in their own right a lot more than I found with the human team in the first book. It's really funny that Murderbot gets really annoyed when it's watching entertainment shows that the presentation of security unit constructs is unrealistic, which is very human because you're always annoyed by the lack of realism in TV shows when it's stuff that you know about and you just don't really care when it's stuff that you don't know about. So my husband Dave is a techie, so anything to do with technology that isn't presented in a realistic way, he gets very annoyed about when people are using computers. It doesn't bother me at all because I don't get it. But if there's stuff to do with horses, I'm like up in arms. No, that's not how you would do that. Or I'm always analysing whether the actors can actually ride and that kind of stuff. Anyway, yes, when the actual mission gets started, it's like the first half is very much a conversation between Murderbot and someone else and an exploration of what's happened and what might happen in the future, which was really interesting and well done, but it was a definite change of pace from the action of the first book. Second book is more action heavy, more intrigue. And when the mission started, I much like in the first one, I found it quite difficult to follow the details and understand exactly what was going on, what they were trying to achieve, and what the obstacles were, and what the antagonists were trying to do. And I didn't have the TV adaptation to help me out because the second season hasn't been made yet. But I followed along reasonably well, and the details of it didn't really matter to me that much. And it was more about the interactions between the characters, which I think were done a lot better. I like the through line of Murderbot tracking aspects of its past, of things that happened before the series started, to do with it hacking its governor module. That provides an interesting connection between the books, and I'm assuming that will continue with the rest of the series. And without any spoilers, I really liked the relationship between Murderbot and Art. That was great, and I liked the way it developed. And I'd like it if Art was going to be in it again, but I don't know whether that will. The option was left open for that to happen, but I don't know whether that will happen later in the series. I think that's about it, really. It was quite short. It's a very short novella. And yeah, I think probably give both of them 3.5 stars. I don't know that I'm massively invested in carrying on with the series, but I have added the next one to my audiobook library wish list. And yeah, I might get around to it at some point, but I'm not sort of planning to leap straight in to the next one. So yeah, that Annie from just a few minutes in the future here to say that I realised I had completely forgotten the actual purpose of Reviews Revisited in this instance and hadn't looked back at my previous review. So let's do that now. It turns out that it was in July 2018 and it was a Get Your Words Out book club pick, which I hadn't even remembered that Get Your Words Out had a book club back then. Get Your Words Out is a writing community that I've been a part of for quite a few years, which helps people tracking their writing goals. You either have a habit goal of how many days you want to spend on your writing over the year, or a number of words that you want to get to over the course of the year, and there's lots of activities and posts and discussion online and support and tracking. So yeah, Yeah, I'd completely forgotten there was a book club. Anyway, so that's apparently how I came to read All Systems Red, the first Murderbot book in the first place. And that is the only one that I had read previously. So Artificial Condition was in fact new to me. And here's what I wrote in 2018. The latest Get Your Words Out book club book is All Systems Red by Martha Wells, which is subtitled The Murderbot Diaries. The narrator is a security robot assigned to a scientific team doing a survey on a remote planet. It doesn't have a name, but refers to itself as Murderbot, and the reason for that becomes clear later on in the book. To begin with, the narrative view is very narrow, as Murderbot doesn't have much interest in its human charges, so they don't get much characterization or page time. I found it initially difficult to invest in the story because Murderbot is so unengaged, and none of the other characters are really in it. We don't even get much sense of the setting or what the scientists are trying to do. Things change about halfway through, with the humans and Murderbot working together much more and getting to know each other much better. This is an effective portrayal of Murderbot's changing attitudes to things, but it does mean I nearly didn't carry on with the book to get to the good bit. Once things get complicated and messy, it's all a lot more emotional and exciting, and the last 50 pages in particular are really good. The end really tugged at my emotions, and I enjoyed the story overall, but it took far too long to get engaging, and I'm still not sure I'm invested enough to carry on with the series. So, very similar thoughts to this time around, even with the addition and help of the TV adaptation. I think that is a bit of an issue with these books, though, as I said in the second one, the human characters and the other characters do get more of a look in and more character. So, yeah, pretty much exactly the same as I thought this time around. So, not exactly revelatory, but it is part of the series, the main reason for doing this video series. So, I have included it. You're more interested in me. Go, get it! Oh. Hello? Fearsome Hunter. Nope. Okay. So yeah, that about wraps it up, I think, for this month's episode of Reviews Revisited. Next month, I think I should be doing World War Z. I think that's the plan, but it is also the Magical Readathon Autumn Equinox happening in September, which is going to put some, not restrictions, but guidelines on my reading for the month. So whether or not World War Z fits into that, I don't know. And if it doesn't, I may not have time to add it in, and I may end up doing something else. So we'll see. But that's the plan: is World War Z. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been a bit different, obviously, with the cat and the different location. I think the novellas didn't give me as much to dig into. I haven't done spoiler sections because I didn't feel that that was really necessary or would add much to it. So yeah, probably a bit of a short episode. And Stanley, obviously not here, giant teddy bear Stanley, but he'll be back in other videos, obviously, and I've got my little trusty companion bear here with me instead. So yes, please join me in my next video. I've got links to all my other projects, the media reviews podcast that I do with my husband, and various other things down in the description, and all of the descriptions of the reading challenges that I'm doing. And yeah, please join me for another video soon. Bye for now.